going through, I'm going to remove the wiring harness first and label as I go so I know where each one go. What I may do, and I don't know if I'll do a video on it, is if you can see, like I've got a lot of oil crud buildup on the harness on this, and what I'm going to do is probably try to rewrap similar to what's already on there and clean it up and make sure that the wiring is in good condition. If not, I'll fix some spots, but everything ran fine as far as wiring goes, so I'm not. There's actually two wiring harnesses. I'll remove this one first that connects to the battery, and then fuses to the alternator, ground, two grounds I think. Yeah, two grounds. This one's already removed, and to the starter. And that is one I'm probably going to replace with the jeepcables.com with their 7 cable kit or whatever, and change all this to 1/0 because I want to upgrade the alternator. And still turns, but yeah, got that resistance. So I'm gonna get some gloves on, and since a lot of this is oil caked, then get on here and start removing. Yeah, one thing I want to make mention before I start is the frame turned out awesome. Let me get a closer look here. Keep the camera on the tripod. Like, it looks absolutely wonderful. I mean, I can't complain. I got a couple of streaks in some area, like I got it a little thick right there, and probably some areas that I missed a spot, like in the back side of this tray. I'll probably do that when I do the bottom, because I still haven't done the bottom yet. But I'll probably order a couple more cans of those of that Eastwood Rust-Oleum, or not Rust-Oleum, Eastwood encapsulator, to just miss any spots that I need. And if I've got an extra can, I'm going to do it on the tub far in the future. So just wanted to make mention of that. I'm going to do this as close as I can. I'm probably going to get in the way, but so for the alternator up here, this is where the power comes in from the battery. I believe it's from the battery. Yep, coming from the battery. And this is a 13 millimeter. I'm losing that. New alternator is probably going to come with bolts, but if not, we're going to hold on to everything just in case. I'm still going to label this, even though I plan on replacing. Actually, should I replace it or label it? I mean, it's pretty straightforward there. And then the ground cable to the alternator, doesn't look like any power to the alternator is going there. Oh, there is a red. Where's the red line go? Let me get rid of this. This is the vent tube for the transmission. I zip tied it up front. And then I'll just drape that back there. Just know that one. Let's see if I can. This one goes to the front, and I believe there's another one on the other side somewhere right here. Goes closer to the front. I thought there was another one. This one's coming from the what is that, the transfer case. There's another one. It's maybe coming from the bottom of the transmission. I see it up front there, but we'll see it once we get it all apart. So now that that's out of the way, let's do, I can't tell if you're able to see me. Yeah, you can't see where I'm going here. Maybe I'll just do that. So I'm at the starter right now, and it's also a 13 millimeter. But that is a black cable. Oh no, it's a red cable, so it's the power. Red cable, power going to the starter. It's just so dirty, it looks black. And then I want to say these are bigger. Oh no, 13, and then that one's already loose. So this grounding spot right here is 13 as well. The problem is, see, we got a problem. So the problem we're having is it's a studded, so I'm gonna have to get a I don't even know what it is. It's a Torx bit. I don't know what size, so let me grab a couple here. So it's gonna be a E7 is the size. I'm gonna tighten it back in. And I just broke it, guys. So that is not good. That means I put too much torque on it. It's coming up in the wrong spot. Alright, we're kind of stuck on that because both the grounding from the wiring harness we're trying to remove and grounding for the pretty much the battery terminal is stuck on there, and I stupidly went too tight on that to tighten it. What I should have done was just used, I do have an E7, I think I have an E7 wrench, and I could have just loosened that up that way, although that could break it too. So trying to think how we gonna get that off of there. Alright, so I disconnected the alternator. Coil pack has been removed. I still got to label it. It plugged in right here. AC we already did. This goes to the CPU. Starter, or no, distributor. So that goes right here. And then this is the alternator. And then this one's the starter. So I did remove where the ground is right here. As you can see, I had to break it off because I twisted the wires as far as I could go, but you see how that's a for whatever reason that nut is stuck on there. Well, I broke off that tip. What I should have done was got a wrench or something to hold that in place as I turned that nut. and so I'll have to remove these somehow. I ended up cutting the one with the battery harness, and since I plan on replacing that anyways, but if worse comes to worse, I'll get a new tip. This is loose, so I was able to get it out that far, and I hit it with the hammer and broke it off. So this is loose in here. It's not very tight, so I might be able to hit it with a hammer and a screwdriver and get it to go around enough that I can grab onto it. Now I'm going to move over to the other side. It's less oily on that side. I gotta go around the other way. Because we got to remove, I'm going to go ahead and remove a lot of the AC lines for sure. I'm going to take off. I'm not sure how it connects in here. It looks like a big bolt, and then it goes down to the pump. So I don't know, they're kind of in the way, but we need to remove this temperature sensor, or that's a gauge that tells you what your engine temperature is at. And where does this go? That goes down to something down there. Oh, it looks like a couple of different things. One for the AC pump, and the other looks like it's going to an O2 sensor down below. And then another AC sensor, another O2 sensor up here. This looks like, I don't know what that is. That might be, I forget the name of it. Might replace that. And then, yeah, there's just a lot more wires connected to over here. Another O2 sensor going down. That's the pre to the cats. Throttle position sensor, and then I forget what that one is called as well, but all that needs to be removed because it's all connected into one harness, and I'll have to remove that, take off the wiring for the fuel injectors, and then we'll flop it over, because it doesn't look like, oh, there's the, oh, it doesn't look like they put a connection separating the transmission stuff to the fuel tank to the front. So this is all one harness going up here. So yeah, that kind of sucks. Got some writing on this. Yeah, so this looks, I think this transmission's been redone. I'm not going to remove these two from each other, but yeah, it just looks like transmission was done at one time. Anyways, I'm getting off on a tangent, but let's start removing wires. And here's another vent tube going to that. I mean, before I remove anything else, like the fuel line's got to be removed, which is right here. Fuel line might need to be replaced from right here to the front, because as you can see, when the engine tilted, it pinched the fuel line right there. It pinched, actually, the bolt that's right here was pinched in there. I pulled it out. It's not leaking fuel or anything, but I would think that would be like a restrict fuel going through. So we don't want that. So it looks like two easy disconnects, similar to the AC cut type of disconnect, although that one looks pretty rough. So we'll see how it turns out here when we get to that point. But what I'll do is end up just probably trying to remove it right here, and then that's further on. So far we're going to concentrate. I'm not going to film this, so it's just straightforward, and I'll show you what all I labeled and what removed and all that. Alright, I'm going to call it a night. I've got most of them disconnected. It's such a pain in the butt, some of them. I don't think too many of these have been removed because they were pretty difficult in removing. So I've got everything labeled. I didn't label the fuel injectors, but if you want to label them, go ahead. Typically they run off in the order, like they're already pretty much there. 1 and 2 might be a little different because they're together, but and again, this one's forward and this one's back, so have a little bit more to remove. I have one, oh, I don't have a flashlight, but in there it's connected to the AC compressor, and this same line. So it's doing the AC compressor, and then it's connected to I want to say that's bank 1 O2 sensor 2. So I want to say bank 1 is the left or front side, and bank 2 is the rear side. At least that's what I'm going to label them. So I already removed 1 of 1, which was connected up here somewhere, and then 2 was 1 on bank 2 is up here, and then this one is connected to bank 1 O2 sensor 2, and then bank 2 O2 sensor 2 is connected right here. So that's a pain if you got to change that one out. Holy crap. I mean, these look a little bit newer, so they've been updated recently. I would have just taken them off, because we're going to be taking them off of, unless they look real bad, taking them off this, putting them on the new one, wherever I put it around here. It's around here somewhere. And then that's it. We'll be lifting these up off. This will come up off. I gotta get these two disconnected, and then the wiring harness is off. And then I'm not sure what I'll do next on this, so stay tuned when I'm out here again, probably freezing my butt off. Alright, so I went ahead and took the fuel rail off, and so I got a lot of the wires. One wire I can't get is going to the O2 sensor down there. I just can't pull it apart, and I don't want to break the wire. Alright, so I finally got the whole harness disconnected. The O2 on the bottom, I want to say number 1, bank 1, and then, or bank 1, O2 sensor 2, I had trouble. I finally got it to break free. However, this one I ended up breaking. This is bank 2, O2 sensor 2. So this should have a housing over top of it protecting it. That's still going to work. So it was just real brittle. So then it ended up falling apart as I was pulling it. And I think because it sits right up here and it's so close to the exhaust at that point, I think that's the problem. So the housing, where's the housing at? On the main harness, the housing seems to be all right. But see, that concerns me, being so close to the exhaust right there. Just because this is going to generate a lot of heat. In fact, I don't know if you remember, there used to be a heat shield over here, right here, that was over top. to prevent the heat soak to the fuel rail, which I'll probably put something like it again there, but I don't know. I know the TJs definitely have an issue, or not TJs, the XJs definitely have an issue with the heat soak. But I don't know. I didn't notice any performance differences when I put one on an XJ, but you never know. You know, it could be saving yourself some fuel. So the only other thing I need to disconnect is I believe that is the oil pressure gauge, which looks pretty rough. And I'm gonna have to clean it off probably just to get it. Because I mean, there's just all kinds of dirt and grime caking it in the back here. And now that I got the O2 sensor disconnected, I already removed the exhaust system. I'll show you in a little while. I cut through this one. I'm cutting through the second one but before I did that, I didn't want to yank this cord. I mean, I'm not too worried about these things. They can be replaced, but it's harder to replace the wiring harness to the vehicle itself. So, but let me finish this and then I'll show you the exhaust that I pulled out of here. Yeah, so I did notice this engine was a little noisy, and this could probably be why right here. Just look how loose these are. But once I get this apart, I'll probably end up just cutting off, and then to save these, clean these up. They actually look pretty good, not too bad. On the exhaust manifold, I like the older ones better. I don't know why they had to change them and make them all look weird, but whatever floats their boat, I guess. But anyways, the exhaust system over here. The two cats here look pretty dark and dirty. This one just seems like, I don't know, it's missing stuff. And I'm gonna try to save the O2 sensors off of this, but we'll see. And then this is a cat. I don't have this one yet, and looking down in here, can't see it really well, but it actually looks pretty good. I hate to put it back on, but I don't know. I mean, because you get a replacement when it's like $300 or $400. And then obviously, you know, the tailpipe here was just junk, just rusted off. And this part is loose right here as well. And then the jerry rig piece right there, which is probably what I'm gonna do. And the exhaust, yeah, or the muffler, yeah, I guess can't tell if it's bad or not, but I got a replacement of that as well. So and yeah, I think the only thing left to do on this is just start removing it. So I'll probably drain the oil out of it. I haven't done that yet. Something I'm gonna do too is check the spark plugs, so I may need to change them. And I've also been thinking about putting this on it, since it's in so much better condition than the one that's on there. but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll take it in to get it cleaned up, and who knows? I don't know. That's just more money. But I'm gonna probably fiddle around with this for another hour or two, and it's Christmas, so I gotta get going for family stuff. And I wanted to continue picking at this while the weather's decent, because we're supposed to get another Arctic blast. And I don't know, maybe I'll be out here freezing my butt off to work on this thing, but I gotta try to get it done. Alright, so it's been probably over a week since I last filmed, but I've got pretty much everything off of this engine that I need. So now we're going to remove it. I've already removed the starter, so that'll be the first thing you do before you remove it. Remove the starter, and then there's a plate, inspection plate right here that'll need to be removed, and then you can get to the flex plate or flywheel depending on the transmission you have. And then I'm going to remove those 5 bolts. I think there's 5. They're kind of a pain to get to because you got to move the transmission around, make sure it's in neutral so you can move it, and then the 4 bolts on the back. I did remove these 2 just to figure out what sizes they were so I could put it on an engine stand. And once I get that removed, then we'll go with the motor mounts. And then, but at that point we're going to need to brace the engine. So let me get to it, and I don't know how much of this I can video because it's up underneath. I'll probably do little clips to show you what's going on. And yeah, today's a nice 57 degrees out, so beautiful day to do this. I still got the heater going because it's a little bit chilled in the building, but should be good to go. All right, I got the inspection plate off. It's 3 bolts, and then it slides right off, and it's caked in dirt and oil, so definitely need to clean that up. Now, to take off that plate, use a 15 millimeter, and one was, I believe, right here, here, and here. Right, and that plate just comes down, and then it makes the flex plate visible. Now the next bolts to come off are these right here, and it's an 18 millimeter, and you can just see how dirty it is back here. So the rear main seal has definitely been leaking. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this one broken loose, and these bolts are pretty short. Once you get them loosened, it comes off pretty easily from there, or I mean, it's real short, so you don't have to go far with it. And then I just use a screwdriver to push the wheel around so the next bolt can come up to here, because otherwise you just can't get to them. So you got to have some room to breathe on it. So all right, so it was 4 of them, and as you can see, they're really short. And 3, so got that done underneath. So next step I am going to go ahead and remove the back 4 bolts, and then remove the engine mounts. Now I'm not sure the order that mechanics do this in, so just be aware of that. This is just how I've done it. I used to remove these first and then the flywheel or flex plate, but I think it's better to remove the flex plate bolts first, because that's what disconnects your transmission from it. So, and if you remove these, I don't know, I was thinking about it, and maybe you could damage it. I don't know if it will damage, you know. It's not like these are getting under any kind of torque or anything like that, but this time I'm removing the flex plate first, or I removed it already. Then I'm going to do these 4 bolts back here, and then we'll do the engine mounts. I don't think I have to do the engine mount on that side, but because I think it's already disconnected from the engine. So alright, so one side, I think it was the passenger side bottom, that's the wrong bolt. So I had to use a different, like it wouldn't tighten up, and it was loose in there from the beginning. This one was real tight, but you can see the thickness difference between the two. So, and then these were the top bolts, but looking at everything, like, that's not a typical bolt that belongs there. So even though the use, actually you see the markings on there, that's not a factory bolt, that's a bolt they got from a store. Same with that one. And these might have been, I don't know, they look more factory, but so whoever put this back together did not use what originally came off of it. So I'll probably find, I don't know if an XJ1 will work. I'll have to look. But yeah, so that's not good to begin with. So these are the bell housing transmission to the engine bolts. So that is all loose now. It did loosen up. I did feel the two parts move from each other, from the engine and transmission. So I know that it is loose now. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my crane over here, get the engine braced with some straps, and remove this bolt right here. And this one's probably going to be a pain to take out because the engine is tilted, so this rubber is going to fight me the whole way probably, but we'll see what we can do. Thankfully, I mean, I'd rather them not be disconnected, but I'm glad that one did as opposed to this one, because since that one's already disconnected on the other side, this one's easier to get to. So, and if I have to, yeah, I don't think, there's 2 bolts on the engine mount to the engine right there. So, but anyways, let's go ahead and get it all set up. Now, one disadvantage, I use my gentry crane for a light, so unfortunately that light is going to go away, so so I can get set up. Alright, I got this removed. It's a lot easier than I thought. I had to take a screwdriver and and pry the bolt out, but it went out pretty good with it. A lot of times I gotta like pound it from this side. I was afraid I was gonna have to remove the oil filter. Used a 18mm socket. I'd tell you the socket on the bolts to the engine, to the bell housing, but I don't think they're going to be correct, so you're going to have to check it on your Jeep. But I want to say this is pretty loose. I just wanted to check one thing. I should have checked it before I got it. So I wanted to be underneath the transmission lines coming out here, because they're going to stay in place. And I did go underneath on the front there, so we should be clear. I might have to pop that transmission line bracket right there off the engine, but we'll pull it up and see how it goes. Let me put you down for a minute so if you can watch me for once. I gotta get a new pair of gloves. So to get this thing on the engine stand, the flex plate's gonna have to come off, and then I honestly doesn't look like I damaged it too bad when I was hung up on that. I think this, yeah, slides right off. A little bit bent, but not too bad. And this piece right here actually goes on. The engine mount right there. The one on this side's on the transmission. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this on the engine stand, and probably go ahead and end the video here because it's getting late and I have to be up early for work. And I'm happy with the progress, but I wish I was further than I am with this. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it on the engine stand, and then in the next video I'll do a once over with this, and then we'll start removing all this stuff once we get it on the engine stand. But I'll do a once over on it. Actually, I might not need to. I'll just dig into it in the next video. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.